today's show, we discuss, do we need AI in courts?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Tyre Bowyer. Tyre, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you're keeping safe and well. And I'm not going to ask you to say hi to the audience.
That's kind of a backdoor way of saying, of asking me to do precisely that. So, in response to your somewhat duplicitous method
Ever.
yeah, it was, I will sort of say hello to the audience like that. You see, here we go. So, the facts, fact of
Oh,
the
factoid, factoid.
factoid.
Indeed.
As of 2024, 38 US states have passed laws restricting and or penalizing anyone who advocates for or participates in boycotts of Israel. The same laws often require government contractors to certify that they do not participate in Israel or Israeli settlement boycotts.
What?
Yeah.
So basically, in the land of the free,
Oh, yeah.
they're not allowed to have the freedom to protest against Israel. What about other countries? Is it just singled out Israel, or have they got special favor? What's going on?
Israel does have special favor.
But why?
Well, because when push comes to shove, I'm sure you've heard me say this, and I believe I use it in our private communications all the time. It's for me, it's the United States of Israel. It's not the United
I
States of America.
I actually read not that long ago, I don't know how true it is, that it's written in law in America that they have to defend Israel.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me.
I would love our readers or our listeners, readers, our listeners and viewers out there who may know a little bit more about this. Is that actually true? Or what's the reason behind it if it is true? Why would Israel be actually written in the United States in some way for them to defend them at all costs? So I'm intrigued by that. If that is indeed true, it could be a load of, malarkey. It could be nonsense. But I haven't looked into it, investigated it, whether it is true or not. But I'd like to put that out to our listeners, whether they've heard that and whether, or if they have, if they can provide more detail. We're just kind of getting in touch. And on those same lines, if you're watching or consuming our content on whatever platform that you happen to be on, please like, comment, and obviously answer the question that I've asked now in the comments on whatever platform you happen to be consuming it on. And if you've got a specific question for us, then obviously put those questions in the comments. We will get round to seeing them at some point. We did have a Facebook group, but Tayo has got himself banned. But we still have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/the TNT Talk Show. So you can try and put things on there if you wish. But the TNT Talkers now has almost died, which is just a shame because it was a great little community, and Tayo was on there until he got himself expelled. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, let's move on with today's topic. And this is one of Tayo's, which is an interesting one. Advent of AI, brilliant technological piece. So, do we need AI now in the courts? So, Tayo, what made you come up with this particular topic?
I came up with this topic because I was watching a Candace Owens show, and to my
Do you want to explain
extreme,
who she is, just for the
Candace
benefit
Owens
of some
is
viewers don't know who she is?
She's an American. Yes, she's an American TV. No, no, well, media personality. She used to be on the Daily Wire until her views on Israel got her sacked. Then she moved on to her own channel where she's got quite a big, I think, a biggish following, maybe 1.2, 1 point something millions followers. And yeah, she showed up a few years ago, but she was sort of under the radar until she got onto the Daily Wire. At least from my point of view, maybe other people would contest that and say, ah, no, no, she was big. I kind of knew she existed several years ago, but it didn't matter. You know, she didn't make an impact. And then she, in my opinion, got bigger when she got on the Daily Wire, which is quite a well watched show, if not so nowadays so well regarded. At one point, it was quite well regarded. With I don't know if you've heard of someone called Ben Shapiro. A lot of people have.
Yeah, Ben
Yeah,
Shapiro. Yeah, he's
that was
quite
that was
famous now.
his thing. And yeah, so she's quite famous now in her own way. She's in the not quite the same rank as Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan and that sort of thing, but she's thereabouts. She
Okay.
could get there one day
Okay.
if she keeps growing. So anyway, like I was watching one of her shows because she was the source of another conspiracy. I mean, when the TNT does conspiracies, but I don't know, we're babies when it comes to conspiracies. I think we get to a point where we go, yeah, no, I'm not going to take that. So one of
That's a bit too wacky. Yeah, we even we
one
we
one of the
pose
things
along.
that I took because I followed I 5 6 6 hours I watched of
What?
yeah. Candace is she did a series. She introduced the evidence, and as far as I'm concerned, she brought the receipts. But Tony was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do that." This was the one about Brigitte Macron.
Oh,
Well, you say,
I
"Oh, well,
saw I saw a bit of it and I just couldn't. It was too far-fetched for me. I'm sorry.
I watched it. I don't think she brought receipts, but I was intrigued by that. So I kept an eye. I keep an eye on the show, and then I just one day saw a thumbnail with her sitting opposite Harvey Weinstein, and I was like,
What?
okay, all right, well, what's going on here? And I watched the beginning of the show, and she was like, "Yeah, I know all you guys be shocked and taken aback that I'm sitting there in front of this monster and this and that, but the guy had things to say, and I just thought I should share them with you." And
Well,
by then,
she
I mean,
interviewed him
oh, several times, yes, yes,
before he went to prison.
no, 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 in prison,
Oh, wow.
yeah, she met him in prison and interviewed
Okay.
him, yeah, yeah, and her her position was that she went in there trying to be open minded, but ready to tell him to shove off and everything because, you know, of his background. And said, well, by the end of it, she still thinks he's a monster, but she doesn't think that he did those things that he was accused of. She believes that he rubbed the wrong people the wrong way and he's paying for it.
Really?
And yes, that's what she believes.
Without
And that he
without
was
evidence?
no, well, she got some evidence. It's not the sort of evidence that I know someone like you would be interested, but someone like me would be like, yeah, that's not consistent. So she pointed to some inconsistencies in the court proceedings
Okay.
itself, and those inconsistencies, by the way, are what are leading to what I think could be a very powerful case for appeal, an eventual dismissal of those charges. So it's not small beans.
He hasn't just been charged just singularly
No,
that he
no,
can then
charges. I said.
dismiss.
I
Yeah, I
did
know
use plural.
exactly. So how could they all be thrown out? What? Because of a legality, a loophole?
Because of the way the trial was conducted in the main. Evidence that should not have been allowed was allowed. You got this thing about if you are accused of something, if Tony Fasulu is accused of, for the sake of argument, I'm not saying you are a car thief, of jacking Tyre's Jaguar, and then we haul you up in court and everything. It's not allowed. It's prohibited for the prosecution to say, Tony has a long history of this sort of thing. It's just like
Yeah, you
his
can't
history
bring
doesn't
people
imply anything here. So if you
indeed.
start going on about the histories and things, you are actually coloring the opinion of the jury, which is precisely why I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if we had AI? Because AI would look at that and go, I mean, you could present it, but AI would ignore it and could ignore it. But humans can be colored by what they hear and see. And that is precisely why we have this.
Absolutely correct. Yeah,
That
you're
is why we
right
have
on that.
this show. That's the reason for this show. Now I'm saying that I think we've got the technology now in AIs for us to dispense with the human element. Even maybe as going as far as judges, because my favorite bugbear, one of my bugbears, of course, is the gender war, and it infuriates me that a woman can commit murder and get 6 months suspended sentence, whilst a guy goes to prison for 25, 30 years or something for maybe even an
Well,
accidental
that's
murder.
that's again, you've got to put meat on the bone there. You can't come out with a comment like that, and it almost sounds as if the way that you framed it, that all women could commit a murder and then not go to prison, whereas men will always go to prison. But you haven't put any meat on the bone as to what that case where that may have happened, maybe to one person, not everybody. And be
It's not
fair.
everybody.
What? So every woman that commits a murder gets
It's
six
not
months suspended.
everybody, and
Well,
it's not all women, but it is a sufficient number for it to be a known problem. So
okay. Can you
anybody can just
provide the
Google. No, I'm
figures
not.
of
No, no, no,
this
no, no. I'm not. No, no,
evidence?
no, no.
Oh,
Anybody who disbelieves me, go ahead, prove me wrong. Go. No, we got because I happen to know it's right, and it's not even the
don't
main
don't
focus. I don't want to go
don't
down
say do
one
your
of
own
your.
research because then I will annoyed.
You prove me wrong. Prove me wrong is what I'm saying, because this is not the main thesis today. I don't want to go down a rabbit
Okay.
hole.
Okay.
I'm not. I said this is the I know to be a fact that a lot of us are worried about judges, human judges, because human judges are seen to be biased. Family court, family law, all that sort of thing. What happens to men in there? So let's have AI doing the job.
So
That's what I think.
replacing jurors and judges.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's a problem there,
I know where you're
first
coming.
off.
Go on.
Okay.
The bias is in AI.
In the AI itself, that's one.
Yeah.
Okay. Because AI at the end of the day doesn't do common sense
Mm.
for
Mm.
a start. All it does, as you've said it on many occasions, AI is just a tool that looks at data and can pull out information. So it can be used. I'm not saying AI can't be used in the court, but I would say rather than it replacing judges and jurors, it aids judges and
Mm.
jurors. So you have a hybrid approach. Now, there is some research already where the AI assists the judges, but they have the final say.
Mm.
So it will make recommendations based on some of the data that it can collate. Because at the end of the day, AI is far better than humans at going through the law, for instance, and
Mm-hmm.
looking at the fine wording and what it's heard in the court, it can relate to. But the judge can review it if it's brought to his attention and go, okay, these are the statutes, these are the steps in the law. Okay, I can pull this one out for this case. But the AI has gone and got that. So there is that in place. And also, some early research has shown that the jurors don't automatically distrust the AI judgment and consider it on par with some human judges. So that's quite useful, but I think a hybrid approach would be better because there are elements of AI, even today, and even though it's expanding at a rapid pace, that we can't use purely because the AI itself is like a black box as it is, isn't it? You, how do they get to their decision? How would they conclude someone is guilty and someone is
No, we
innocent?
can watch
Based
it,
on what?
we can watch it. You can actually tell AI to share. I mean, even
How
we as
it's
users,
reasoning.
yeah,
Yeah,
even we as
I've
users can
seen
tell
that.
it.
Yeah.
Let me see your reasoning, and the eggheads working very closely with the AI can see a lot more than we can. So in fact, that is one of the things that I want to point to being a very great piece of evidence in not evidence, sorry, a huge fact in support of my position. Because excuse me, because what I'm saying is to get rid of the human element altogether. Because guess what you can do with an AI that you can't do with a judge or a human juror? You can inspect their reasoning. You can actually look at it and have it printed out on a sheet of paper and go, oh, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah,
But
but if it's
it
taken the reference from because remember, I think you've done it yourself. You've reprogrammed an AI by doing a certain task over and over and over, and it then took yours because remember, the AI is picking data up off the internet.
no,
And
I turned my
what did you do? You
I
did
turned
something
my
to it.
I turned my AI so misogynist that even I went, whoa!
So
And then I wrote to you and I said on what's up? I had to tell the AI, dude, calm down. Don't say that. Kill all the women. What? Hold on.
no, you can't say that. No, I'm
So
gonna have to bleep that out. Otherwise,
sorry.
I can't. I have to
No, we're
bleep that out
laughing.
now.
I'm
I
not
know,
only
but
that. I'm actually saying you can't say that.
yes, you
So I'm
can't say that.
actually saying you can't say it.
No,
So I'm not advocating it. Obviously, I was horrified. Like, whoa, what are you doing? So
this is
I
the AI
realized
doing it. Okay.
maybe I've gone too far. It's a pieces, and I think recently, Chat GPT is not an aside, by the way. I'm bringing this back. Very recently, say within the last couple of weeks, Chat GPT released a notice or something and sort of apologizing to users and saying they have realized that their one of their models, I don't remember which one it is too is too in favor of appeasing the user. It will bend over backwards to appease you. And I think that was the problem with my interaction with it. It just wanted to tell me what it thought I wanted to hear.
Okay. So
So
literally as a servant would. Is
well, as a yeah, some what do you call it? Someone who's sucking up to you, sycophant
subservient.
or
Yeah, yeah.
sycophant, sycophant.
Sycophant. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's what it is. So because of that, the working with training it now to be less accommodating to different ideas. So coming back to court, that is what you can look at and hear because it's not going to. I don't think an AI at this stage. I don't believe there's any evidence that AIs can pass the Turing test.
No.
Therefore, we can assume that we can accept that what it's showing us as its reasoning truly is its reasoning.
Okay.
If it does something wrong, we can say, hang on,
But what
you
about the
can't.
bias in the system? There's
Well,
bias.
we can see it. That's the great thing about an AI. We'll be able to see its bias. If it's in the reasoning, it says, yeah, well, Tayo is black, so he couldn't possibly have done it. You can go, whoa, that doesn't make any sense. Or Tony's white. He's always innocent. All white people are perpetually innocent. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. You can see it. But in a human, the same feelings and thoughts are there, but you can't see them. And if you ask the human will, most probably lie, and they might even be lying to themselves. So they might think they're telling you the truth because they've lied to themselves, and now they're lying to you. It's
Okay. I mean, I get your reasoning,
Hmm.
and you know, there are elements of positivity about introducing AI to help with judges and the jurors
No, no,
come to
don't
their
do that. Don't
decision.
do that, Tony. I'm saying not help.
You'll
There we
replace.
go. There's a big
No,
difference.
I'm not with you with that.
I
I
know,
have
I
to
know
be
that.
against.
Hmm.
I mean, some of the issues, some of the legal decisions require interpreting intent. How can an AI do that? A moral nuance or something, reasonable doubt, for instance. How would an AI do that? It
Well,
simply cannot.
well
Because
then.
if you're okay, if you're intending to harm, right?
Hmm.
So you've got a big machete and you've tried to chop someone up. You're chasing them down the street and you failed each time, but you're intending to do it, but no harm happened to the the third party.
Hmm.
So intent to harm. There was
I
no
can
harm done.
imagine. I can imagine a situation where I'm chasing you down the street because you've said something that has infuriated me, and I'm trying to hack at you with my machete. Now that your leg is presumably healed from the torn Achilles heel,
You've now
and you're
paraded that to all our audience, but yeah, okay.
yourself being more athletic than me, athletic than
Not
me.
sure about that.
Believe believe me, if I'm kissing you down the street with a machete, every second you'll be increasing the distance between us. And if the AI gets a hold of that video, the AI will say quite rightly, well, Tayo's anger was totally irrelevant because he couldn't chase down a one-legged chicken that was carrying a 50-pound bell or something
It
around his
doesn't
neck.
matter. Your intent to
But his
harm.
intent
Mm,
was to harm, but his capacity to harm was zero. So as an AI, I recognize that Tony was never in danger. That actually, when it comes to Tayo and machetes, no one is ever in danger if they are more than 3 yards in front of him when they start running. So
okay.
I'm gonna let him go with a stiff warning. Now,
That's nonsense because imagine you had a gun and you did it, but you're a lousy shot and you tried to shoot me and you fired several shots and they just missed my head. I'm just going to let her go? Yeah, he's fine. He's a terrible shot. No,
well,
I want something to happen to
ban
you.
him from taking.
And the law will still want to ensure
Now,
that you're
under the
behind bars because the
circumstances, you
next time
ban
you could
them.
be lethal.
Under the circumstances, you ban such a person from joining gun clubs and taking training. Any training in. Look, I'm being facetious, man.
I know.
Obviously, the intent, like you said, there's an intention to do harm, but even with human judges, I've been infuriated. I don't ask me for specific cases. I don't remember. I've been infuriated with the outcome because the judgment has boiled down to what I said that, well, yes, the intention was there, but nothing in the final analysis, and I hate that cliche term, nothing actually happened. So never mind. And again, it's usually on behalf of women who did some things. Yeah, well, she's just a little thing. I mean, she didn't really matter what she did. So it's like, what are you talking about? She actually struck the guy. It's like, yeah, but he's a big, strong guy, and she's just a little woman. It infuriates me. However, so I'm saying that an AI would look at what you call intention and be more prone to deliver a harsh, well, I won't call it harsh, a just outcome. Because the AI doesn't, it's just, what are the rules? You chase someone down the street with a machete. What is the thing? 6 months and, well, 6 years imprisonment. Done. Just done. We don't care. The AI
But
doesn't
it's
care.
not black and white like that
But
because
you just said it was, didn't you?
I
Just said you were
know,
chased down.
right?
So,
Yeah, okay. Let's put it to the other end of the spectrum. You picked up the machete, but you
mhm.
had no intention of doing anything with it.
So why
You've
did I
got
pick it up?
one angle where somebody had it and actually chased down the road. The other person had picked it up and threatened, "Oh, I'll do this with you," and never really had an intention to do it. Whereas humans are more in tune with that, and they could have seen especially if there's video evidence, they would see the intent because they can see what was in place. And AI doesn't have the skills, and I don't know whether it would ever have the skills in order to reasonably make out whether there was intent to harm or not.
Are you right about that, though?
Well,
Number one, are you right about? I mean, do you know for certain what an AI will be able to
well, I'm not, but
intuit?
I'm not saying I know for certain, but so far it lacks common sense because it doesn't have actual real world experience.
Hmm.
And that is one of the things that humans have above AI because we have wisdom, we have life
No, we're
experience.
supposed to have wisdom.
Well, we do. With age, you do get some, whether you don't believe it or not, on some people. But
One word for you, sir. One and just one. Trump. There we go. End of story. Yeah. Game, set, match to.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Look,
Mhm.
I'm.
All right.
You've
So look, no,
thrown me now.
look.
Your
Back
turn.
back
They've
to this
thrown
thing.
me
Back
now.
back
Okay.
back to the AI thing. If if there, not if there is a prosecutor and there's a defender, it is up to the two of those parties, to those two parties, to present their best case to the AI. So if you're saying, well, so the prosecutor will be saying he picked up the machete, then it's up to the defendant saying, but he never intended to use it for anything. And these are the reasons why. And then the AI can do a preponderance of evidence test and make a decision based on that. It's not making a decision in isolation.
What? Right. I'm still unconvinced
Mm-hmm.
as to whether AI is in fact mature enough to take on this role. Assisting, absolutely, because it can analyze evidence for any inconsistencies. It
Mm-hmm.
can highlight the laws. We've already touched on that, any precedents and things. Um, I suppose it could even flag biases in testimonies, for instance. Let's say there was something that a witness testimony said, and then it was reworded, but it didn't quite align. So it could pick those little nuances up that a human may miss. So this is what I'm saying. It can assist the lawyers and, in some cases, the jurors, mostly the lawyers and the judges, in ensuring that the cases that are brought to bear are treated properly and there's
Mm-hmm.
no little gaps. I get that. But giving them exclusivity to create and sentence somebody, I mean, okay, what if here's a question that AI could be left in charge for some minor sort of
Yeah,
proceedings.
misdemeanors they're called.
Yeah, the little
At least in
ones, yeah.
America. I don't know
Okay.
what they call it in England. In England.
But, like speeding tickets and things like that
Mm.
that go to court, evidence, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, you could give it the more mundane jobs. And, but what if we subsequently discovered later that the AI was wrong? Because further evidence occurred, which then exonerated the plaintiff. And
Mm-hmm.
so they no longer were the person who was guilty.
Mm.
So if the AI then passed judgment based on that data, but interpreted it incorrectly, maybe, then who's to blame? Is it the AI company?
No, I can't accept I can't accept the proposition of your question. The AI would have reached a decision based on the evidence that it had in front of it at that time. Subsequent information comes along, and it subsequently goes, "Okay, actually, he's not guilty. Release him." But humans do that all the time. People spend decades in prison only to be exonerated by DNA evidence or something. So even humans, they're just doing the best they can under difficult circumstances. But my position is humans are more prone to be biased. And by the way, something that we haven't spoken about, AI won't take bribes.
That's
It,
true.
it won't take bribes. It won't curry favors with anyone, with the administration or with anyone. It won't hold grudges. So you are straight away, right off the bat, you are actually getting a better system of justice.
I'm not
At least you should be
disagreeing.
getting.
I'm not disagreeing. You see, the argument here is for me is not that AI can't play a part in the legal system or be used in courts. In fact, I think that it should. I think the the whole legal system is very slow and very cumbersome in
Mm,
terms of getting anything in front of courts, unless they're really, there's pressure from certain areas, they get sped through, but majority take months to go through. But AI can certainly help with the admin side to
mm,
begin with,
mm.
get them, form filling and all that stuff. That can all be automated, really. It's just getting it in a court where there are judges. The AI is there to help and assist, and even the AI can come up with a recommendation for a particular sentence. But the judge would have the final say. He'd be signing it off, so to speak, and have the oversight in order to do that. So if he wants to be lazy, he lets the AI do it and just signs it off, which I don't think is good. But if he looks at the conclusion of the AI in what it presents and says, look, I think this person is guilty because of X, Y, and Z, the judge can look at that, can corroborate. Or if the judge then believes, actually, there's some nuances here that have been missed by the AI, obviously, which I have seen, and so I won't go with the AI because these are my reasons because of X, Y, and ABC that
Mm.
the AI is just not able to see the nuances, the emotion bits, the body language, all this sort of stuff that the judge will maybe more akin to seeing and interpreting than the AI. So I see AI as a tool to assist the legal process and assist judges. Replacing them altogether? No, not even
Well,
in the future. I think there still needs human oversight in place to ensure
I
it doesn't
think
go
I think your
awry.
position, I think your position is in a hiding to nothing. I truly believe that in X number of years, maybe I don't know, maybe not even our lifetimes, but
Oh well, I'm not saying
at
okay, I'm
some
not
point
crystal ball gazing. Well, it possibly.
it will take over because there are just too many plus sides to it. Look,
Okay.
why does it matter? Again, I'm sorry to be going to the American system, but it is, more visible to me than the British one. Why does it matter which president elects who onto the Supreme Court? It matters because that president is electing someone who shares his biases. So,
Yes.
so wouldn't
But
it be
they but
great?
but but they that yes, they have his, I'm not sure his biases. They can share his point of view, but when they're in their job, they are sworn to uphold the rule of law. So whether the biases is there, and yes, there are biases, and judges do have biases, but by and large, they have to follow the rule of law, not their political affiliation.
No,
So,
if that's the case, why did the Democrats bring in Roe versus Wade, and why did the Republicans suppress it?
well, that was just one argument that
But
they
no,
believed.
there's a reason why I myself prefer to have a Republican majority on the American Supreme Court because I really despise the politics of the left. I hate them with them. I don't need to get into all the details, but specifically, that ought not be the case. There ought to be an objective standard by
Which
which
they
this.
are. That's what
No,
they
they're not.
do.
They're humans. They can strive to be objective, but
Okay, which is what they try.
the mere fact that it matters what president elects who onto the Supreme Court means that they often fail. I mean, facts, man, not theory,
No, they don't
actual
fail
facts.
because the law isn't always black and white. The law is due to interpretation. We've had this before. We've had this discussion before. There are nuances in the law. The law is not black and white in a lot of cases. It's not. So that's why you need judges to interpret the law and then act accordingly. They've been given the authority in order to pass sentence based on what they see in the law. So why is it? Why is it? See, this is where you've got your black and white thinking again.
Mhm.
It's not. It's shades of grey. Why
Mhm.
is it that the same? Why is it? No, because it's not because the law says it. Look at what's happening in the law now with the Constitution in the United States, where it's written enshrined in the Constitution that every citizen has a right of due process in a court of law. That's written and it says it's quite clear. There's not very much ambiguity in that. But
Mhm.
still, the lawyers of the Trump administration are looking at that and seeing if they can get a slightly different interpretation in order to get their agenda through, in quotes, legally.
Yeah, but they failed signally. I mean, they got a 9-0. I mean, for once,
Yeah,
everybody on Supreme
everyone,
Court was
exactly.
like,
The
"No,
Supreme Court,
stuff
but
that,
they've
bro."
chosen to ignore it.
But the idea is this: you said everything's shades of gray. That is due to bad positioning, bad writing of bad laws. Everything should be in black and white. For
In an ideal
example,
world,
for
yes, we don't
example,
live in
for
an ideal.
example, this flip flopping on Wade versus Roe thing. You start off by explaining to the AI what is your purpose. Your purpose is to protect human life. When does human life start? Human life starts at the point of conception.
When
From
is
that
that?
point of conception,
Yeah, when is that though? In timeline?
when the sperm, what's it called, impregnates the ovum.
Yeah, how long does that
Ovum,
take?
ovum,
Is it the
ovum.
same for everybody?
Yes,
No, is it the same for everybody?
yes.
No, it's not.
What do you mean? No, it's not.
Because sometimes the impregnation can take a few days longer after than the actual intercourse, and some are done almost immediately. So
No,
what's that? That's already ambiguity.
when the
Ambiguity.
sperm,
Yeah,
when the sperm impregnates
yeah,
the ovum, the
yeah,
ovum.
yeah. But what time frame is that? It's not the same as having the sex.
You know
It's
what I
not the
said it
same.
was? You asked me what
Okay,
is
but then,
conception, and I
but you,
told you what conception is.
yeah, okay, but you see what I'm saying? There's
No,
already
I don't.
ambiguity
There's no
in the time
ambiguity.
frame.
When the sperm impregnates the ovum, what
Okay,
ambiguity?
so what happens if two people have had intercourse with the woman in the
Who cares
same
how many
evening?
people have had intercourse with a woman? Has a
Okay,
sperm impregnated an ovum? Yes or no?
okay, yeah, okay. That's to do with the life one because you're looking at that one single question, right?
So it's black and white. So
Okay,
once that happens,
yeah,
that that impregnated ovum has sparked human life. So
okay,
you've defined that. So as that is a definition, there is no more gray area for the AI. It will not. It will never switch, no matter who's president, until Congress comes back and says, no, 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 no. Human life begins in the 6th month, or whatever. So when the baby can live on its own, as the Congress redefines it. But when the thing is well defined, AI has black and white, no nonsense, no feelings, no looking for loopholes, nothing. It's just got a very straightforward, no nonsensical black and white way of dealing with it. And then everybody knows what the law is, which
okay.
is
So
one of the things that is lacking
do
now.
you then do you you see, you're using a black and white term again on finite. Okay, so let's look at it this way: you and your driving. Okay, the law says you must do 30 and 30, 70 and 70, but it doesn't apply to you. Okay, so if black and white was the way AI works, you'd be locked up now with no license. But police officers can look at the situation and go, well, he needed to get back. We can yeah, we can let him off on this occasion because, his wife wasn't feeling well or circumstances happen. And this is the difference about lawmaking. You can take a holistic view of the whole situation rather than an AI black and white view where you would be breaking the law every single time you did 30.1 mile an hour. That's the problem. The law has to have shades of grey within reason. And that's where the subjective element comes into it. And the same in court convictions. The same. So that's why AI cannot be left just to black and white reasoning. It has to allow for situations
So
in life.
you go to court and you say, Taya goes to court and says, yeah, AI judge, look, man, it was 30.1. Like, come off it, man. And the AI judge says, there's no coming off it. 30 is the limit. It's up to you to be under 30. Yeah, but my wife and, or I had to get to the loo or blah, blah, blah. And the AI says 30 is the limit because you're not the only one on the road. Other people are on the road. And it is the duty of this court to protect everyone. So
Okay.
loo or no
So
loo, you should
you are
have.
now wanting a total fascist society,
I've always
and you
wanted
might
a
as well.
total fascist society. What are you talking about? It's not news. Bring back the guillotine. Do you know there's a movement? Quick aside, do you know there's a movement in America starting off bring back the buckle?
The buckle. What's that?
Belt, bring back the belt buckle
What, to hit
for
smack
weapons.
kids?
Yeah, there's actual movement because they've seen the light. However, I'm against it because I was beaten. I was beaten as a kid. I have a right to beat because I was beaten and I know what it's all about. But so many parents now were never beating. How would they know how to dispense justice justly? They wouldn't. You can't if you weren't beating, you can't beat. That's my thingy.
Well,
You
how
can't.
would your parents have known how to beat?
Somebody
They
they
must have
were beaten.
started somewhere, but yeah, but maybe they just learned and watched someone else. It doesn't mean that they were beaten, they couldn't inflict it.
No, I'm
I was
actually
I was
my parents
smacked with
told
a
me how they
belt
were
by my
beaten.
parents.
Weren't
Yeah.
your parents? Didn't your parents sit you down
Yeah.
and tell you how they were beaten and how they
Yeah.
crossed mountains with how they crossed went over the Alps with elephants and stuff? I like, Dad, are you really sure you did that? I thought that was Hammurabi or whatever his name was. You sure you're not fibbing now? Yeah. Well,
Oh
anyway, so
God.
listen. So no, there's this. The AI doesn't take bribes, doesn't hold grudges, doesn't carry favor, and the amount of research that it can do in an instant
Yep.
is not something that humans can do. So I think you've already said this. I accept, funnily enough, your position in part that AI it will be a great assistant in the courtroom. Okay, can be a
Okay.
fantastic assistant. I am saying that gradually, I would like to see I don't know, my hands are showing. I would like to see the balance shift so that gradually, as we integrate it into our systems, we see more and more that it's something we can rely upon. For example, let me give you for instance, I get into an aircraft and I see two pilots of a certain, shall we say, gender, if you like, sitting in front in the cockpit. I want to get off the plane. I would like to jog on. If I don't see anyone at all, and I say it's an AI flying, I want to get off even quicker, right? And that's because I'm like, yeah, I'm not really sure about this. But now, not in my lifetime, but over the next few decades, more and more and more and more, the whole thing is done by AI to the point where we here we have two or three accidents that were caused when the human pilot intervened, but the AI was right and the human was wrong. And then people are like, why do we even have a pilot, a human in the blooming cockpit anyway? At that point, that would be the right time to take out the human. So I'm saying the same thing with the courts. Let there be an and not an invasion. That's a horrible word to use. Let there be a gradual taking over so that hey, hang on, this is the word to use. We evolve
Well,
the
that's
AI
absolutely
systems.
fine. I haven't got an argument with you then. Because I'm actually of the same opinion. I'm
No,
fine with AI being the helper for now. And as it learns and improves, then of course it can take on more and more roles.
Mm,
I'm still of the opinion, whether rightly or wrongly, but of the opinion, AI has to do a lot of catching up in order to understand circumstantial evidence, for instance, or nuances and things like that. If it can show that it has learned enough to pick up those, and it'll have to be tested thoroughly in order to do it. So, for instance, you record certain trials, and you'd have the AI on one side, the judges and lawyers on the other, and they come with a conclusion and have to spell out why they came to that conclusion. If we then get parity between the two, where the conclusions have been garnered in the same fashion because AI has suitably learned how to do it, then of course AI can take across and take judgment calls. But until that point, it has to be a slow evolution. And the judges still have to be the signing off, so to speak, of the decision making. Because the AI can provide the answers and say, well, look, we think this. What do you think? And the judges still have final say, well, just check this for me. And it could do it in real time, check
mm.
whatever, go away and find me the answer to this law. And then it gets those to the judge, and the judge can then make a more informed decision on the case based on the AI's findings. So, yeah, it will help. And I do think a hybrid approach will be the answer. And eventually, as you rightly say, how many years down the line, when AI is improving and improving, then yeah, who knows? AI
Let me
could
ask you a
then take it
question.
on board.
Let me
Go
ask
on.
you a question. If an AI sees a parade of not accused, not of alleged, what is it? Accused people. What is it? What's the term for it? Of accused people in front of it. It sees a parade, a constant parade. So an AI sees 50 people a day accused of this, that, or the other, and it consistently, it consistently, due to the nature of the evidence, for no bias or anything, consistently finds that dark-skinned people are more likely to have done something wrong than light-skinned people. Since it learns from patterns,
Yeah.
won't it actually naturally acquire a bias against
Of
black
course
people
it would.
anyway?
Of course
See,
it
that's
would.
fantastic, isn't it? Well,
So
that's
your unbiased AI has now got a bias.
yeah.
So it,
Every time you guys show up, man, you're guilty. I'm not even going to waste any time. Guilty.
well, this is part of the problem because the AI has to pick up on information that it's on online and it learns from it. There's a system in
Didn't you
America.
recognize the trap I laid for you, sir?
Oh,
Didn't you recognize the trap? If
no.
an AI feels that way, why do you think humans do? But we can
Hmm.
inspect an AI's thinking, but we can't inspect the human's thinking.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But
So you
but
see, you see why humans shouldn't be evolved and maybe not even allowed to override an AI.
no.
Maybe to override an AI it takes more than one human. So since AI will be more efficient, there might have to be 3 judges or 7 judges, whatever it is, that need to overturn an AI's decision.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. That's absolutely fine.
Okay,
And
but
the
you made it
AI
sound like it was
and
just one judge
no,
sitting
no, no,
there.
no. It judges however many it's needed. So, but the beauty of it is that the judges can look at more cases than they currently do.
Yes.
So efficiencies will be better. But yeah, there could be some problems in terms of the biases. You've rightly said it as well. I
Mm.
mean, there
But
is a
but
bias in
but you
humans,
could
but
see it. You would see it. So why did you? Oh well, black people are just all crooks, and then you can deal with it because it'll tell
yeah, but
you. It's
that's
not,
that's that's a whole again black and white thinking, isn't it? It doesn't take individual cases in their own merit. It's now tarnished everyone with the same brush, which is not how it would work. So even though even though an AI, I'm going to argue your case now, even though an AI was aware that statistically in the example, oh, more black people maybe, I don't know, committed a crime than white people or Hispanic or whatever, because it wouldn't use that bias on that case, it would treat them separately as an individual case. It wouldn't bring those biases in. The judges could, because you're right, you can't eliminate that, but the AI could be cleansed of that each time or instructed not to use that
Yeah, I think
past.
I'm instructed not to use
Yeah.
that. Yeah. No,
So
and I want to fight against. I want to quarrel with your lack of empathy. You're saying that it's AIs can't see the nuances.
yeah.
We're talking about going, driving too fast or something like that, which I never do. Yeah, I don't know why you
Of
love
course.
it. Officially,
Is that your nose
publicly.
growing longer?
No, I mean officially. I mean naturally in public. I would never do such a thing. Why would I? Hey, okay, look, you can make a joke like this. Then there's unfortunately I'm involved in car palaver, and then people show this video and go to court with it and go tires fractally. So no, I actually don't speed. Thank you very much. Anyway, AI likes sympathy, which is
On
but
a simple
sympathy empathy.
aside,
Sorry,
Tayo went past my village where his car, the front of his car was glowing red because of the heat, because he came past, hand on the horn, bang!
I did that on purpose. I did once on
Uh-huh.
purpose. And this is what happens. You do something once and nobody ever do something bad, nobody forgets. Do something good, nobody remembers. What is life? So empathy. You were talking about
Okay.
being empathetic. I don't like empathy because
Really?
empathy for the miscreant. I'm trying to think of for the guilty person. Isn't convict? There's a better word for it. The person who did something wrong,
Yeah.
for the wrongdoer. So
Okay.
sympathy for the wrongdoer is lack of justice for the victim. I don't mind if your empathy or your sympathy goes to the victim and you punish the wrongdoer even worse. I don't mind that. But what I hate is when judges and juries are like, we shouldn't. And what about the
What
poor
if there's
the
no
victim?
victim?
Sorry,
Not if there's no victim.
what like if there's
Crimes
no
can be
victim, I don't
committed,
really.
right? Crimes can be committed. Like, for instance, I give you an example. I was on the
Driving too
mo.
fast and you never hit anyone. You just drive
Yeah,
too fast,
yeah,
31 down the 30 road.
yeah,
You didn't hit anyone, but
yeah,
you were caught on speed trap.
yeah.
There was no victim in that. The idea being, we will train you to worry and to use your car's speed limiter because it does have one, at least mine has, and you can use the speed limiter. There's no good reason for you to ever go above 30 apart from you just thought you could get away with it. When the courts in your town are all run by AI and you know you're not going to get away with it, I'm betting that no one is going to do it.
Do
That's
you
what
know
I'm
what's
betting.
really, you know what's really strange about that?
Mm-hmm.
The cars can be stopped at 30, but why is that not law? For instance, they have the technology now to enable limiting of cars because there's a sufficient number of cars on the road now that have limiters on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's been in place for a number of years, but they can be controlled remotely. So why is it as soon as you enter a 30-mile-an-hour zone,
Mm-hmm.
can your car not go beyond 30?
Because otherwise, if you did that, people like like some people would would get out of their cars where just right there, just get out of the car, close the car door, just walk away and go and buy an old banger that doesn't have it. It's like, okay, all right, take it. It's not my problem. There's a guy in, I know it's an aside, sorry, but I think it's an interesting question, an interesting story. There's a guy in London who got furious with getting yet another blooming ULEZ nonsensical thing or the other. So he changed ownership. No, is it transferred ownership of his car to Sadiq Khan?
Really?
Yeah, Sadiq.
How? You need
That
to
it,
have the address. How would he do it?
yeah, this is public knowledge. I'm not going to out Sadiq Khan, but he can easily do it. Anyway, he wrote. I actually remember he wrote it via Mayor of London
Okay.
office of the Mayor of London. So they can't get all the ULS. So they
So,
can't get all the ULS notices now. Nah, something to do with the age of the car and what's not. And he's like, "Come and take the car. I don't even give a rat's ass. I'm just fed up with you people." That's just that. Yeah, it's just utter only the British. What a
that's
fantastic,
very clever. Very
very
clever.
clever.
Okay, okay. Right. Let's come on with the show. We only got a few minutes
Oh, I
left
thought we're done.
of the show. No, no, no. We've still got a
Oh,
5 or 6 minutes to go,
oh
so
no,
we
what are we
can
going to talk
still.
about now?
I mean, the reasonable doubt one. That's one that we haven't
All
really
right,
touched on
yeah, go on.
because circumstantial evidence is using evidence which isn't, there's a lot of convictions, by the way, using circumstantial evidence. So
Very
that's
dodgy.
something that the AI wouldn't be equipped to use at the minute. It's certainly not. And also
Can you
cases of,
explain? I
right.
see. I watch it in movies. I watch. Oh, that's circumstantial evidence. It's not going to be allowed. What is it, and what's the problem with it? How about you share that with it,
Oh,
with
good
me anyway?
grief. Circumstantial evidence. Well, it's evidence that's been understood but hasn't been brought into the court. So that's my understanding of it. So how can we give an example? Yeah, it's a guy has been seen in a place several times, and so he frequented it lots of times, but there's no evidence to show he was there on the day the crime was committed. But we
So
knew he was there every other day at that time. It just happened to be that day the crime happened. We haven't got the evidence to prove him there, but
mm,
all the other evidence leads to hold on, that's his routine. He does it every day at the same time. So the day of the evidence, the AI would look on the day of the evidence and say, well, he wasn't there. And factually, he wasn't. But if he was there every single day and not that day, you have to ask a question. Why was he not on that day that the building fell down, for instance? So the
circumstantial
circumstance.
evidence, according to this AI, circumstantial evidence is evidence that relies on an inference to connect it to a fact in dispute, rather than directly proving the fact itself. For example, if a witness testifies that they saw a defendant enter a house, heard screaming, and saw the defendant leave with a bloody knife, this is circumstantial. What the hell? This is circumstantial evidence that the defendant was involved in a violent incident inside the house. We can draw by inference
Mhm.
that some that yeah, we were there, the scream, the bloody knife, and all that. But we can't. We didn't see anything. There's no eyewitness. There's no actual hard
Well,
proof.
you see, if in that case, then circumstantial evidence can't be used in a rape case because you know there's no evidence for the rape other
Yep.
than the person
One person's.
saying you weren't there. You weren't,
Hmm.
she could be scratched, she could be hurt, she could be bleeding, but you weren't there. We cannot prove the guy was there. AI couldn't prove it, but we know it was him
No, we
because
think
he's
it
her
was him.
partner.
We don't know. We think it was him.
Well, there you go. That's circumstantial evidence. And many cases are convicted based on circumstantial evidence.
I
So
wouldn't like.
how
I
would the
wouldn't. I
AI?
wouldn't like to do it. I would never want to do that based on circumstantial evidence. I mean, there's nothing under the fingernails. There's no DNA evidence. There's all sorts of things that I look at it and
Well,
go,
that's what
yeah.
would need to be looked at, you see.
Hmm.
And also, you could
AI
have,
could be trained to take preponderance of evidence into account. So this circumstantial evidence could be something that the AI assigns a weight to, and then it looks like the preponderance of evidence, and it might actually do a better job
see,
in the end.
I'm not saying that it wouldn't eventually, but at the moment, there's so many gaps in its knowledge
AI is
that,
very young technology. I mean,
well,
but
yeah, it is. It is.
I
So
would
at
like
the
to see. I would
moment,
like to see it in. I think we should be introducing it and leaning more and more heavily on AI because there are too many egregious cases of 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 something of the law. What's it called again? When the court makes a mistake, something of the law.
I don't know.
Too many instances of bad judges, bad courts. There's
I'm
certain
not sure there's
certain.
too many. I mean, if we were to look at the actual figures of that, what does too many mean in percentage terms? Yes, if the wrong convictions, a single wrong conviction is a wrong conviction. It's not great, but by framing it as too many go wrong, many, again, that's not a figure. That's something that we fill in the gaps. Many is a lot. Oh, could be a lot. Could be what? 50, 60%? That's many. But in reality, what? It could be 1 or 2%. That's not many. So you have to be mindful of words are used during cases like this. So yeah, sorry about that. Someone's at my doorbell. Right,
There's
we have
25% in Connecticut in America. And I'm going to send you the link, obviously. Researchers found that judges set bail amounts are 25% higher for black defendants than for white defendants, and so on and so forth. There's so many of these things. I don't. I mean, seriously, I could send you so many links. You just get fed up. Black men are about 50% more likely to be detained pre-trial than white defendants. They're
But
given.
what's the statistics of the whole thing? How many offences are done predominantly by black, Hispanic, white people? What are the figures? If you then find that in reality those figures are actually higher for black people, then of course there's going to be a bias from the law enforcement and probability alone. If a
How could you
crime has
tell
been
which was
committed,
which? How could you
sorry.
tell which was which? How could you tell that it's not the bias itself that is leading to high conviction rates rather than it's black people
Well,
doing
we
something
don't.
wrong?
But if evidence suggests that more crimes of petty theft, say, are committed by black people, the bias will be there from whoever's in law enforcement,
You're
even
not,
black
you're not
police
getting the
officers.
point. You're not getting the point of what you're saying. You're saying that the bias, we don't know now whether this is causation or correlation. Is it biases leading to greater convictions or black people's so-called inherent badness leading to it? And like, well, since the system is biased, how are you going to be able to tell?
Well,
Anyway, I sent you a link, which I hope you can
okay,
share
well,
with
I'll share it with our audience. But I mean, we've now got to the end of the show. So do you want to quickly wrap up? Do we need AI in courts?
absolutely. We
Okay,
have to be
I'm
careful how we
actually
introduce it, how we introduce it, but yeah, we definitely need it in courts.
I'm agreeing with you. We do need AI in courts. I think it will speed up the process. It will
Mm-hmm.
speed up law enforcement, getting trials done quicker. Not to make the decisions on convictions or not yet until it's more mature, but certainly it can help with the process itself and help the lawyers and judges in process too. Okay. If you've loved this episode, please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexplained twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tyre, and we are the TNT Talk Show. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.